Good morning, everyone. Today, I want to talk about a force so powerful that it can shape your life, your relationships, and even the world around you. That force is the mind, specifically a positive mind. Our mind is like a garden. If we plant seeds of doubt, fear, and negativity, the weeds of stress, anger, and worry will grow. But if we plant seeds of hope, gratitude, and positivity, our life blossoms with happiness, peace, and success. Think about this. Two people can face the same challenge, yet their outcomes are completely different. Why? It's not luck or circumstances, it's the mindset. A positive mind sees opportunity in adversity, growth in failure, and hope in despair. But how do we cultivate a positive mind? First, we need awareness. Notice your thoughts, because what you focus on grows stronger. Replace the I can't with I can learn and watch how your world transforms. Second, we need resilience. Life will test you, sometimes unfairly. But a positive mind doesn't crumble. It adapts, learns, and moves forward with courage. Finally, remember that positivity is contagious. When you choose optimism, encouragement, and kindness, you don't just uplift yourself, you lift everyone around you. So today, I encourage you to nurture your mind like a garden. Weed out negativity, water it with hope, and watch as the power of a positive mind transforms your life. The mind is like a garden. It grows what you plant in it. If you plant seeds of negativity, fear, and doubt, you'll harvest stress, frustration, and unhappiness. But if you plant seeds of hope, gratitude, and positivity, you'll see your life bloom with joy, confidence, and peace. Just as a gardener carefully tends to the soil, removes weeds, and nurtures the plants with water and sunlight, we too must consciously nurture our minds with the right thoughts and energy. Imagine walking into two gardens. One is overgrown with weeds, dry soil, and wilted plants. The other is lush, vibrant, and full of life. Both started with the same potential, just like every human mind does. The difference lies in how they were taken care of. The gardener who ignored his garden allowed the weeds of negativity to take over, while the one who gave time, attention, and love cultivated beauty. Similarly, when we neglect our inner world, negative thoughts take root and begin to dominate our mental space. Over time, they drain our energy and shape our outlook on life. Every thought we think is a seed. When you repeatedly think, I'm not good enough, that seed grows stronger. When you say, I can't do this, it becomes a plant that overshadows your potential. But when you replace those thoughts with, I'm capable, or I will try again, you start planting seeds of resilience and belief. Your inner garden begins to change, slowly but surely. It's not about forcing positivity, but about consciously choosing what you allow to grow in your mind. The challenge is that negative thoughts often grow faster because they require less effort. Just as weeds don't need much care to spread, negativity thrives when the mind is left unattended. That's why self-awareness is so important. You can't stop negative thoughts from appearing. but you can stop them from taking over. A gardener doesn't let weeds stay too long. He removes them before they spread. Likewise, we must identify harmful thoughts early, whether it's fear, jealousy, or self-doubt, and replace them with healthier ones like gratitude, courage, and kindness. It's also important to remember that a garden doesn't bloom overnight. It takes patience, consistency, and faith. In the same way, a positive mind is built through daily effort. You may not see results immediately, but every positive thought you plant and nurture takes you closer to mental peace and strength. Read uplifting books, surround yourself with positive people, and engage in activities that refresh your spirit. These are like sunlight and water for your mental garden. There will be storms, challenges, failures, and heartbreaks that shake your roots. But even a strong tree bends without breaking. When your mind has been consistently nurtured with positivity, it will not crumble under pressure. Instead, it will grow deeper roots and stand taller after every storm. That is the power of a well-tended mind. So, take a moment each day to ask yourself, what seeds am I planting today? Are they of fear or faith, anger or appreciation, hopelessness or hope? The mind gives back what you sow into it. If you want peace, plant peace. If you want happiness, plant gratitude. The harvest of your life depends on the garden you cultivate within. The world you see outside is often a reflection of the world you hold within. Two people can face the same event, yet interpret it in completely different ways. One sees an obstacle, the other an opportunity. That's the power of the mind. It's not always our circumstances that determine how we live, but how we think about those circumstances. Positive thinking doesn't mean denying pain or pretending problems don't exist. It means choosing to look beyond the struggle and focusing on the possibility of growth, learning, and renewal that lies within every situation. When we think positively, our perspective widens. A negative mindset narrows our vision. It blinds us to the paths that could lead to solutions. A positive mind, however, allows us to see the same challenge from a higher place. It opens us to creativity, resourcefulness, and hope. For instance, imagine someone losing their job. A negative mind would say, "This is the end of everything." A positive one would say, "Maybe this is a new beginning. Perhaps it's time for something better. The situation hasn't changed. Only the way it's seen has." Yet that shift in thinking changes the emotional energy, decisions, and actions that follow. Science supports this too. When we think positively, our brain releases chemicals that boost focus, motivation, and resilience. We literally become stronger, calmer, and more solution-oriented. In the negative thinking, on the other hand, triggers fear responses that block clarity and confidence. The mind is powerful. It can either become your best friend or your worst enemy. The direction it takes depends on the thoughts you feed it daily. Then, positive thinking also shapes the energy we carry. People who think positively radiate a different aura, one that attracts trust, connection in there, and support. They aren't blind to difficulties, they just refuse to be defined by them. Such people turn setbacks into stepping stones because they believe there is always a way forward. This mindset doesn't eliminate challenges, but it empowers you to handle them with grace and strength. A great example is how a seed must crack open before it can sprout. From the outside, it looks like destruction, but from the inside, it's transformation. Life often works the same way. When something in your life seems to be falling apart, maybe it's not destruction, but preparation for growth. Positive thinking helps you recognize that truth. It gives meaning to pain, direction to confusion, and courage to fear. Developing a positive outlook doesn't happen overnight. It requires daily discipline, catching negative thoughts, questioning them, and reframing them into two empowering ones. For example, instead of saying, "I can't handle this," say, "I'm learning how to handle this." The words you use shape your internal dialogue, and your internal dialogue shapes your external reality. Thoughts lead to feelings. Feelings lead to actions, and actions lead to results. Change the root, your thoughts, and you change the fruit, your life. Every morning you wake up with a choice: to dwell on what's wrong or to focus on what's right. The choice you make will decide the quality of your day, and when repeated, the quality of your life. Positive thinking is not wishful thinking, it's powerful thinking. The kind that transforms challenges into lessons, pain into strength, and ordinary moments into extraordinary growth. Life has a way of testing what we truly believe. It's easy to talk about positivity when everything is going right, when the skies are clear, the plans are working, and the people around us are kind. But the real test of a person's mindset comes when the storm hits, when the plans collapse, when the people disappoint, and when nothing seems to move forward. Challenges don't create character, they reveal it. They expose the foundation upon which our thoughts are built. A positive mind doesn't deny pain, but it chooses to respond with strength, patience, and faith rather than despair. Every difficulty we face is like a mirror that shows us what's inside. When life shakes us, what spills out is what was already within us. If we are filled with frustration, fear, or anger, that's what will pour out. But if we are filled with hope, peace, and gratitude, that's what will emerge even in adversity. The mindset we cultivate in calm times determines how we respond in chaotic times. That's why it's so important to build mental strength before the storm arrives. Just as a builder strengthens the foundation before constructing the house, a person with a positive mindset sees challenges as opportunities for growth. They ask, "What is this teaching me?" Instead of, "Why is this happening to me?" That simple shift in questioning changes everything. The negative mind focuses on blame. The positive mind focuses on learning. One keeps you stuck. The other moves you forward. For instance, imagine a student who fails an important exam. A negative thinker says, I'm a failure, I'll never make it. A positive thinker says, this is painful, but it's showing me where I need to improve. The situation is the same, but the mindset determines whether the experience becomes a wall or a stepping stone. In there, challenges are also like the fire that purifies gold. Gold doesn't lose its value in the fire. It becomes more refined. Likewise, difficulties refine our character. They remove arrogance, strengthen humility, and deepen wisdom. A positive mind doesn't seek comfort, it seeks growth. It understands that pressure is a part of progress and that pain often carries a hidden purpose. Those who face adversity with courage often emerge wiser, stronger, and more compassionate than before. When we look at great individuals throughout history, one common thread binds them: resilience. They all faced failure, rejection, and disappointment, but what set them apart was their attitude. They used every challenge as fuel to grow. They didn't wait for life to get easier. They chose to get stronger. Their stories remind us that while we cannot always control what happens to us, we can always control how we respond. Every challenge is a classroom, and every setback is a lesson. The question is whether we will be the student who complains about the difficulty or the one who pays attention and grows from it. When your mindset is rooted in positivity, no experience is wasted. Even the hardest moments become part of your preparation for something greater. The way we think in the dark determines how brightly we'll shine when the light returns. A positive mind doesn't just survive challenges. It transforms them into the very reason for its growth. Awareness is where transformation begins. You cannot change what you don't recognize, and you cannot improve what you refuse to acknowledge. The first step toward building a positive mind is becoming aware of your thoughts. Those quiet sentences that play in your head all day long. Most of us live in mental autopilot, thinking thousands of thoughts every day without realizing their power. These thoughts shape how we feel, how we act, and ultimately how we live. Awareness shines a light on this invisible process, allowing us to see the patterns that either lift us higher or pull us down. Imagine your mind as a flowing river. Every thought is like a leaf carried by the current. When you're unaware, you're swept away by that current, reacting impulsively, worrying endlessly, or feeling trapped by emotions. But when awareness awakens, you step out of the river and stand on the bank. You begin to observe the thoughts instead of being controlled by them. You start noticing, I'm having a negative thought, instead of unconsciously believing, I am negative. This simple awareness creates a space between you and your thinking, a space where choice is born. Many people think positivity begins with changing thoughts, but true change begins even before that, with noticing them. Awareness helps you identify what kind of mental seeds you've been planting. Are they thoughts of fear, doubt, resentment, or hope, faith, and gratitude? Once you start paying attention, you'll realize that many negative thoughts are just habits. repeated stories you've told yourself over time. They aren't always true, they're simply familiar. Awareness breaks that illusion. For instance, if someone criticizes you, your unaware mind might instantly react, "I'm not good enough." But when awareness is present, you pause and ask, "Is this really true? Or is it just an old pattern of insecurity?" That pause is powerful. It interrupts automatic negativity and gives you the freedom to choose a new response. Awareness doesn't silence every negative thought. It simply prevents those thoughts from controlling you. Developing awareness requires patience and practice. It can begin with simple habits. Taking a few minutes of silence every morning, writing down recurring thoughts, or reflecting before reacting, meditation, gratitude journaling, or mindful breathing are practical tools that help sharpen this awareness. Over time, you begin to notice the tone and texture of your inner dialogue. You start recognizing which thoughts energize you and which ones drain you. Slowly, awareness becomes your compass, guiding you toward peace, balance, and positivity. When awareness grows, your relationship with challenges also changes. Instead of reacting emotionally, you start responding thoughtfully. You notice your frustration, but don't let it dominate you. You see your fear, but don't let it dictate your actions. This self-awareness gives you emotional stability, the ability to remain centered, even when life becomes chaotic. It's not about being perfect, it's about being conscious. Awareness is the bridge between who you are and who you can become. Without it, the mind becomes a battlefield of random thoughts and emotions. With it, the mind becomes a peaceful garden that you can tend with care. The first and most powerful step toward positivity is not forcing yourself to think happy, but simply waking up to the fact that you are not your thoughts. You are the gardener who chooses what grows. Every person carries within them a quiet set of beliefs, invisible scripts that dictate how they see themselves and the world. Some of these beliefs empower us, while others quietly hold us back. These are called limiting beliefs. Thoughts like, "I'm not good enough," "I'll never succeed," or "people like me can't do this." They form over years of experiences, disappointments, and comparisons. The problem is that once these beliefs take root, they begin to shape how we act, what we try, and even what we believe we deserve. To build a positive mind, we must first identify these invisible walls and replace them with thoughts that open new doors. Limiting beliefs are like invisible chains. You can't see them, but you can feel them every time you hesitate to take a step forward. Imagine a bird that was once trapped in a cage, even after the door is opened. It hesitates to fly, not because the cage is still there, but because it believes it is. That's what limiting beliefs do to us. They convince us that we're stuck, even when we have the ability to rise. The only way to break free is to challenge those beliefs and replace them with new ones that align with growth and possibility. The process begins with awareness. You must catch those limiting thoughts the moment they arise. For example, when you think, I'm terrible at this, pause and ask yourself, is this an absolute truth? Or is it just my fear speaking? Most often, it's the voice of fear, not fact. Once you recognize that, you can replace it with a new statement. I'm learning and improving every day. The mind listens closely to the words we repeat. Over time, these new affirmations start reshaping our identity. It's important to understand that replacing limiting beliefs doesn't mean ignoring challenges or living in denial. It means shifting from a mindset of limitation to one of growth. Instead of saying, I can't handle this, you begin to say, I can handle this one step at a time. Instead of believing, I don't have enough, you learn to think, I have what I need to start. These subtle shifts may seem small, but they create a powerful change in how you feel and act. Your actions begin to match your new beliefs, and your life begins to move in a new direction. One of the most common roots of limiting beliefs is comparison. We look at others who seem to have more success, beauty, or opportunity and conclude that we're somehow less capable. But the truth is, every person has their own pace, their own purpose, and their own path. When we compare our journey to someone else's highlight reel, we rob ourselves of confidence and gratitude. Replacing limiting beliefs means returning to the truth that you are uniquely equipped for your own purpose. No one else can live your story better than you. Breaking free from limiting beliefs takes patience, but it's one of the most liberating experiences in life. Every time you choose faith over fear, action over hesitation, and growth over doubt, you are rewriting your mental script. You are teaching your mind that possibilities are endless and that failure isn't final, it's feedback. Once you begin replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones, your inner voice changes from a critic to a coach, from an obstacle to an ally. And that shift doesn't just change your thoughts, it changes your entire reality. Resilience is not about avoiding pain, it's about learning how to stand tall through it. Every person, no matter how successful or positive, faces storms in life. The difference lies in how they respond. Some allow hardships to break them, while others use the same challenges to build character, patience, and inner strength. Resilience is that quiet force within us that whispers, I will rise again, even when everything around us seems to be falling apart. It's not the absence of struggle that makes people strong. It's their ability to recover, adapt, and grow through the struggle. Think of a tree in a powerful storm. The winds are fierce, the rain is relentless, yet the tree doesn't resist by standing rigid. It bends, it sways, but it does not break. Its roots hold it firmly to the ground. In the same way, resilience doesn't mean never bending under pressure. It means learning how to bend without breaking. Life's challenges may shake you, but if your roots are grounded in faith, hope, and determination, you'll always find your balance again. Resilience is built in moments when you feel like giving up but decide to keep going anyway. Every time you face a failure and rise, every time you're disappointed but still choose to believe, you strengthen that muscle of endurance. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. It's not built in comfort, it's forged in adversity. People often wish for easier lives, but what truly helps us grow is not ease, but endurance. Diamonds are created under pressure, gold is purified by fire, and human strength is revealed in times of trial. When life throws setbacks at us, our first reaction is often resistance. Why me? Or this isn't fair. But resilience teaches acceptance, not passive surrender, but peaceful understanding. It helps you see that every difficulty has a lesson. Every loss carries a hidden wisdom, and every obstacle can become a stepping stone if you choose to learn from it. With this mindset, even the hardest moments can serve a greater purpose. You start to realize that pain doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to shape you into who you were meant to become. Resilient people don't pretend that everything is fine. They cry, they stumble, they fall. But they don't stay down. They rest, they heal, and then they rise again, stronger and wiser than before. Resilience is built on the understanding that setbacks are not the end of the story. They are chapters that lead to new beginnings. When you stop seeing failure as a dead end and start seeing it as feedback, your entire perspective shifts. To build resilience, you must learn to trust the process, even when you don't understand it. Remind yourself that storms don't last forever, but the lessons they leave behind do. Cultivate inner stillness through prayer, reflection, or meditation. Surround yourself with people who uplift and encourage you. Feed your mind with strength, affirming thoughts like, I've overcome before, and I will overcome again. Every time you rise after a fall, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your circumstances. Resilience isn't about living a life free from pain. It's about growing through what you go through. It's the quiet power that turns adversity into advantage, wounds into wisdom, and struggle into strength. When resilience becomes part of your character, no storm can destroy you. It can only help you discover how deeply rooted your strength truly is. Gratitude is one of the most powerful emotions a person can cultivate, yet it's often the most overlooked. In a world that constantly tells us to chase more success, more possessions, more recognition, gratitude teaches us to pause and appreciate what we already have. It shifts our focus from what's missing to what's meaningful. The simple act of being thankful transforms our mindset from scarcity to abundance. When you live with gratitude, even ordinary moments begin to feel extraordinary. Think of gratitude as the sunlight that helps the flowers of positivity grow. Without it, even the richest soil of life can feel dull and lifeless. When you begin to notice and appreciate the blessings around you, the air you breathe, the food you eat, the people who love you, your heart expands with warmth and contentment. Gratitude doesn't change the situation, it changes you in the situation. It gives you the strength to see beauty even in imperfection and peace, even in uncertainty. Many people wait for big achievements or milestones to feel grateful. But true gratitude isn't about celebrating only the grand moments. It's about cherishing the small ones. It's found in the sound of laughter, a kind word from a friend, or the quiet peace of a morning sunrise. When you start to appreciate these everyday gifts, you train your mind to focus on positivity instead of problems. The more grateful you are, the more reasons you find to stay grateful. It's a self-reinforcing cycle, one that brings joy in the clarity and peace. Science confirms what wisdom has always known: gratitude rewires the brain. When you express appreciation, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, the feel-good hormones. Over time, this practice strengthens neural pathways linked to happiness. It's as if your brain learns to look for the good automatically. On the other hand, when we constantly focus on what we lack, we cultivate dissatisfaction, comparison, and frustration. Gratitude helps break that pattern by reminding us that life doesn't have to be perfect to be precious. Gratitude also deepens relationships. When you express appreciation to others, it not only uplifts them, but strengthens your bond with them. A simple "thank you" said sincerely can heal misunderstandings, dissolve tension, and bring warmth into even the coldest relationships. Gratitude creates a cycle of kindness. The more you give it, the more it grows in others and returns to you. But gratitude isn't only for good times. It's even more powerful during challenges. When things fall apart, gratitude gives you perspective. It helps you see what's still standing: your strength, your courage, your faith. You might not be able to control the storm, but you can always choose to focus on the blessings that remain. This doesn't mean ignoring pain. It means acknowledging that even in pain, something valuable exists: a lesson, a chance to grow, or a deeper appreciation for life's fragility. Practicing gratitude daily can be simple yet life-changing. Start by listing 3 things you're thankful for each morning. Write them down or speak them out loud. Over time, this small habit reshapes your mental lens. You begin to see life as a gift, not a burden. Gratitude doesn't remove challenges, but it gives you the courage to face them with a peaceful heart. When gratitude becomes your attitude, positivity becomes your lifestyle. You stop chasing happiness and start creating it. Gratitude teaches you that joy isn't found in having everything you want, but in loving everything you have. And that's where true happiness begins. The quality of our lives is largely shaped by the habits we practice every day. What we repeatedly do becomes what we repeatedly feel, think, and believe. Just as the body is strengthened by consistent exercise, the mind too grows strong through regular positive habits. A positive mindset is not built by chance. It's built by choice. By the small, intentional actions we take every single day to nurture peace, purpose, and joy. Habits are powerful because they work quietly. You don't always see their effect immediately, but over time, they transform your inner world. A single drop of water may seem insignificant, yet steady drops can carve a stone. In the same way, daily positive habits, even small ones, slowly reshape the way you think and respond to life. The mind is like clay. The habits you repeat are the hands that mold it. If you feed it with stress, comparison, and negativity, it becomes restless and anxious. But if you nourish it with gratitude, reflection, and optimism, it becomes calm, strong, and wise. One of the most nurturing habits for the mind is first morning reflection. The way you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Taking a few quiet moments in the morning to meditate, pray, journal, or simply breathe helps align your thoughts before the noise of the world begins. When you start your day with calm and clarity, you carry that energy into every decision you make. Another powerful habit is as intentional reading or listening. Fill your mind with uplifting ideas, books, talks, or stories that inspire growth. Just as the body needs good nutrition, the mind needs good input. What you consume mentally shapes your inner dialogue. If you surround yourself with negativity, criticism, and gossip, it poisons your perspective. But if you engage with wisdom, motivation, and truth, your mind becomes a source of light, both for you and for others. Equally important is the habit of self-reflection at the end of each day. Spend a few moments thinking about what went well, what you learned, and where you can grow. This practice turns every experience into a lesson. You begin to live more consciously, aware of how your thoughts and actions affect your peace. Reflection transforms mistakes into wisdom and pressure into patience. Building positive habits also includes taking care of your physical well-being. Exercise, healthy eating, and proper rest are not just body practices. They directly influence mental energy. A healthy body supports a calm mind, and a calm mind supports a joyful heart. When you prioritize your well-being, you're telling yourself that you are worthy of care and balance. The key to nurturing the mind through habits is consistency. Grand gestures are less powerful than small, steady actions done daily. Just 10 minutes of mindfulness, 5 minutes of gratitude or one encouraging conversation can plant seeds of positivity that grow over time. The mind responds to repetition. The more you practice kindness, patience, and focus, the more natural they become. Positive habits don't make life perfect, but they make you stronger, more peaceful, and better equipped to handle whatever comes your way. When your daily routines align with growth, positivity becomes effortless. You no longer have to chase happiness. You live it. By creating habits that nurture your mind, you build an inner environment where peace thrives, joy multiplies, and every day begins with purpose and ends with gratitude.